Welcome back to Growing Experience. Today I'll be talking about a few reasons why you shouldn't buy bagged potting mixes or seed starting mixes and how to make your own instead. First, the reasons I suggest you don't buy bags of mix. One is that if you start a lot of your own plants or end up buying a lot of bags of potting mix, making your own ends up cheaper and much higher quality. Let me show you what you're paying for with the store-bought bags. I'll dump this bag of Miracle-Gro seed starting mix into the sifter and show you very closely exactly what they bulk this mix up with. As I'm sifting this mix, I'm already seeing a few things in it that I really wouldn't want in my seedling or potting medium. You can see very large chunks of peat, bark chips, and sticks. These are problematic because they can act as mulch for your seedlings and block them from breaking through the soil. As the sticks and wood chips break down, they'll sap nitrogen from the surrounding medium, which isn't great for a container with limited sources of nitrogen. So if you use a lot of bagged mixes, try making your own instead. Start with this brick of coco coir and add in perlite and vermiculite. This will be the base of our mix. I've got this tub and I'll be placing a 10-pound block of coco coir inside. Almost all of the products you'll see in this video will be in the Amazon storefront, which you can find the link for in the description. I'm going to give this 10-pound block a few gallons of water and let it start expanding. I usually do a few gallons at a time, give it about 20 or 30 minutes, and then give it some more if it needs it. At this point, you'll notice it swelling up and starting to crumble at the corners and edges. You'd be surprised at just how much water this block can absorb. Now I'll let it sit and we'll get a little time lapse of this thing swelling. Alright, this thing has started to crumble, and I think at this point I'll help it along by breaking it up a little, and it seems like it could use a little bit more water. Alright folks, the next ingredient is a very important one, perlite. This is a porous volcanic rock that helps with drainage and aeration. This is the stuff you see in bagged mixes, but they cheap out and put very little into them. To a 10-pound block of coco coir, I'm going to be adding 4.5 gallons of perlite. Now I'm going to thoroughly mix the perlite in. I'm not adding in the vermiculite just yet because I want to double check and see that the amount of perlite to coco coir looks about right to me. I want to remind you that if you only do a few plants here and there and don't need much potting mix, the bagged products do work and will end up costing less than the price of the bulk items. But if you use a lot of this stuff, then it will be more cost efficient to make your own in bulk rather than buying a bunch of bags. And it does look like the 4.5 gallons of perlite was enough. Okay, next ingredient. This is vermiculite, a natural mineral that helps retain moisture and helps with aeration. Although it's not as crucial as the perlite, it is very helpful and the results end up being a light, aerated medium that has good drainage without removing the moisture retention too bad. I will be adding just under 2 gallons of this stuff. These two ingredients help prevent damping off, fungal and bacterial diseases, and they help aerate your mix so that the roots of your plants won't starve for oxygen. Depending on whether you're going to use this for potting mix or seed starting mix, you'll want to use different ratios of the mix we have so far and the compost we will be adding in. I use mushroom compost and like to keep it separate and instead mix it in smaller containers with the homemade medium according to my needs at the time. For seed starting mix, I'll add in 4 parts of what I made so far to 1 part mushroom compost, though you can use whatever compost you have. For potting mix, I'll do a 1-to-1. This young tomato plant needs to be potted up because it has started yellowing due to having gobbled up all the nitrogen in the small pot, so I'll be making a roughly 1-to-1 mix and using it for this tomato. Now I'll show you what I do for seed starting. I've got my 200 cell tray for lettuces here, and I'll take a sifter and I'll add a little bit of our mix into it and sift out some of the bigger things that the mushroom compost adds. Now I'll just level all of this out and that's it. We are ready to start sowing some seeds. There's a lot more that could be said about this, but I'll leave it here. This information is a good base to start with and adjust to your specific needs, which will be determined by climate, weather, plants grown, and other factors such as indoor or outdoor use. If this was helpful, please leave a like, or if you want to suggest something, please leave me a comment. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you all in the next video.